Hello, welcome to Darth Dragondel's Mouth. Alright, so we're adding integers today, which seems super simple, but the thing is we're adding positive and negative integers, so we'll get into that here in a second. Let's first do a couple vocab words. The first one's additive inverse. So basically the additive inverse, the additive inverse of a number is, and I'm going to actually zoom in just in case. So the additive inverse of a number is the number when added to x, where x is just a number, makes the sum 0. Okay, so it's a number that when added to x makes the sum 0. So for example, if I had 3, if I were to add a negative 3 to it, like this, the sum would be 0. And we'll get into that a little bit more in a second. And then zero pair, this is basically a pairing of integers that makes the sum 0, which sounds simple. So I'm actually going to show you visually what this looks like. So imagine you had 3 minus 2. Okay? So zero pair would say this is like 1 plus 1 plus 1, that's 3. And then negative 1, negative 1, that's minus 2. So the zero pair are this, because that goes away, ka-chow, and plus 1, negative 1 would go away. And so you're left with the answer, 3 minus 2 is equal to 1, the one that's left over. So a zero pair is when you kind of break up a number into plus 1s and minus 1s and cancel them out. Okay, so practice problems. The first one is very simple. What is 2 plus 3? 2 plus 3. Well, all of us in here know the answer is 5, and I am not going to do any work because it's 5. Come on. However, this one is a little bit, it's simple, but we're not sure yet. So this is negative 2 plus a negative 3. Basically what that means is you start out with negative 2, and then you subtract 3 more. So minus 3. Okay, so that is negative 5. Okay, basically since they started negative, they remain negative, so it's like adding 2 plus 3, except now the answer is going to be negative because these were. This one, again, they're both negative, negative 14 plus a negative 19, so it's really like adding them together, negative 14 plus 19. Okay, so imagine you're adding them together, but now they're just negative. So if we add them together, 9 plus 4 is 3, carry the 1, 1, 1, 1, this becomes 3. So this is a negative 33, okay? So if they're both negative, you add them like normal, and it just becomes a negative number. If they're both positive, we already know how to add those together. So two-guided practice. Okay. Now this one, so I have 5 plus a negative 5, okay? So 5 plus a negative 5. So imagine that's like, so you have a number line. This is 0, here's 5, all right? We're starting out with 5, so we go plus 5, and then we add a negative 5, so now we're going all the way back. And our final answer is 0. Really, it's basically the additive inverse. Negative 5 is the additive inverse to positive 5. So 5 minus 5 is 0. This one right here, the temperature of a frozen waffle is negative 8 degrees Fahrenheit, straight out of the deep freezer. So we're starting at negative 8. After 10 minutes in the toaster, its temperature rises 80 degrees. So we've gone up 80. So plus 80. This is basically be written negative 8 plus 80. What is the current temperature? So if we go up 80, so this is actually kind of weird to look at, and I honestly don't like looking at these this way. Anytime I have these questions and the bigger numbers on bottom, it's okay to flip them. Just keep the signs the same. So this is the same thing as this. Okay, they mean the exact same thing. It's just whichever order I look at. So 80 minus 8, I know how to do that. That's 72. So 72 degrees Fahrenheit. This one is still 72. Okay, so there's no difference. It's just this version is a little easier. So remember, you can put the larger of the numbers on top when you do this, which I find helpful. Except for on this can be kind of tricky. This is negative 12 plus 6. Negative 12 plus 6. So really what's happening here is you're starting at negative 12. Here's 0. And you're going to go plus 6. Okay? So plus 6 would be negative 6. So your answer is negative 6. To actually do this without the visual, I would say negative 12 plus 6. I might even consider breaking this up as in negative 10 minus 2 plus 6. Now the reason I do that is it's still the same. There's still negative 12 right here and here, and there's still positive 6, but it's easier for me personally to look at because I can go, okay, let's add these two together. Okay, that's positive 4. 6 minus 2. So negative 10 plus 4, okay, 10 plus 4, okay, that's negative 6. I don't know, it makes it easier for me. Go ahead and try these guided practice. We'll go over them tomorrow. And our last little guided practice problems, our last practice problems. Here, now we're doing them 3 at a time, okay? So let me tell you kind of the trick I do for these. I write them, I look at all the numbers, if I have multiple positives or multiple negatives, and I kind of group them up by their negatives. So this is negative 9, that's positive 2, I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to put the negative 3 here. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm adding together all of the like sign numbers. So negative 9 minus 3, that's negative 12. Okay, once I have this number, I'm going to add it to the other one, negative 12. I think that makes it a little simpler. 2 minus 12. Okay, so we start at 2. We're going to go 12 backwards. Get to 0. We have 10 more to go, so negative 10 is your number. So this is negative 10. I can do the same thing with this one. So I have 40, I have negative 17, and I have negative 33. So I'm going to add my like values first, my like sign values. 17 plus 33 is 50. That's a negative number. So I have 40 minus 50. Okay, I can do that. That's negative 10. It's negative 10. Good. And then this one. It's a word problem, so we have to kind of pull out the numbers ourselves. The water level of a river over the course of 3 weeks changes dramatically. It falls 5 feet, rises 9 feet, then falls another 3 feet. Overall, how far does the water level rise or fall? So what we need to choose here is how does the words affect the numbers? So it starts out by falling 5 feet. That's like going down negative 5. And then it rises 9, so that's a positive 9. Then it falls another 3. Okay? So add the like signs. Negative 5 minus 3, that's negative 8. Negative 8 plus 9, okay, that's easy, that's 1. So it rose, the water rose 1 foot. And I hope that makes sense. Guided practice we'll go over tomorrow. Math!